All right. My name is Carl Baptiste. I'm Senior Vice President of Enterprise Solutions for Genband, and I'm responsible for actually bringing the Genband products for enterprise to market. My background includes many years of product management and general management of technology, as well as a number of years as a customer, where I was responsible for unified communications architecture for a major bank. So I'm here to show you Smart Office 2.0 from Genband, and let's walk through a demo. Okay, so Smart Office is actually a unified communications experience product built by Genband, and we did it with mobility in mind, with mobility and really a tablet interface in mind, right? So when you're in a PC environment, you've got easy access to multitasking and multiple windows, but in a tablet environment with limited real estate, you don't necessarily have that same luxury. So the first thing you'll notice is there's this workspace, right, which is kind of an open area where most of your interactions will take place. And then there's kind of these control areas where you've got contacts or a reference to your past conversations or settings or tools that you might want to use. And we did this specifically so that within this workspace, you can actually expand it to be a full screen, but you can also multitask very effectively in a mobile form factor. So I can very quickly just flip back and forth between the different tasks that I'm performing within the environment.
And is that an actual app, or is it a web-based?
This is actually an app, but it's built around our WebRTC infrastructure. So what you're looking at on my PC is a Chrome browser that is actually running Smart Office from a website perspective. So this is a full WebRTC implementation that is completely web-based, completely clientless. And you'll see that it's the same experience, whether it's the tablet or whether it's in Smart Office. And you'll see that more as I go through the demo.
Is it just an Android app that you have, or is it for iOS as well?
This is an Android app. It also is available for iOS. And this is actually built off a software development kit that is based on the same APIs that drive our WebRTC solution. And really the reason we do the purpose-built applications for mobility today is that it's a little fast. The WebRTC pace with the browsers on the desktop are moving a little faster, right? These browsers move a little bit slower, so we're able to bring more functionality richer to the tablet using the SDKs as compared to WebRTC today. But that may evolve over time. So let me give you a sense of the user interface. So here I'm logged in as myself, and over here I'm logged in as just a guest user. And I could start, for example, just by typing an instant message to one of my friends. So I'm gonna look for guest 3, which is what I'm logged in over here as online. And so now the first thing you'll see is that it brings up, there's a contextual history of all communications that would have happened in the past with guest 3. So if I had had a previous IM history or a previous call history that I recorded, I'd be able to see that all here. But now I can go in, and let me get back over here. So I can go in and I can just go in and type a message to guest 3. And you'll see my message pops up over here on the tablet.
And that's real time?
Right, and that's all real time. That's real instant messaging and presence supported within the environment. Off of in this case, it's running off of our Experience product, which is our application server. And now I've got an instant messaging session that's been established with guest 3. Now I can very easily, I could have started this anyway. I could have started it as a video call. I could have started it as an audio call or whatever. Mm-hmm. But what I'm going to do, since there's only 2 here, I'm not going to start a group session. But really, all I'm going to do is say, okay, I want to now. I'm going to talk now. I want to go to audio. So I actually just made a call, and I'm actually going to accept a video call. Let's get that muted really quick. There we go.
Okay.
Yeah. So I can just mute here. I'm going to mute them both here, so you won't see me through there. So now you can see. You've got me, and now I'm looking at me again here, so I should probably show you. But so we've got a video call established, and all I did is escalate that right from that instant messaging session.
Does it matter what type of connections you're on, whether it's Wi-Fi or LTE?
This happens to be Wi-Fi. This happens to be running LTE.
Okay.
So and I'm doing that on purpose, right? So I didn't connect this to the Wi-Fi network. It's actually running. I don't know if you can see that, but it's running
really
4G LTE. So.
Have you tested the throughput beyond lower than LTE, and how would the result be in terms of the voice call or the video call?
Well, voice is less of an issue, right? So if you were at 3G speeds, you could still do voice over 3G,
okay.
right? Because
but just not the video part.
There's different. We can go high def on this, right? So
okay, so you can control the video quality that comes
well,
over.
it will adapt its quality
automatically
based on the speed, and you can also limit it if you choose to.
Okay.
Right? So I probably wouldn't recommend a video call over 3G link, but you could do it.
Okay.
And there might be a little bit of latency, or you might get some dropouts. But I've done this demo from hotel rooms, from all sorts of places with limited bandwidth, and if you've got reasonable access to bandwidth, it's going to work fine. But Wi-Fi 4G is going to be much better, obviously. So now you can see the environment, right? I've got video going, and I can just as easily now move to a desktop sharing session. So let me see if I can bring up collaboration for you. Oh, you know what? I didn't start a conference bridge. I have to actually let me back into this and start again. So I want to show you different features anyway, right? So another way for me to start the call is actually just drag and drop. So I could actually just pick up guest 3 and drag and drop them into this workspace, and it'll create the call, right? Or I can plan for a conference, right? And so I can go up and set up my conference, and I can say I want to have a video conference, and I want to start a new one. Right, and
the conference will begin when the chairperson arrives.
Okay, so I am trying. So I'm online as the moderator, right? This is on as the. Oh, forgive that. Sorry, I'm gonna have to just re-invite them to the conference.
Sure. So while we're doing that, do you find the user experience or user interface on Android versus iOS different?
Well, certainly from the base operating system, but the look and feel,
layout and design.
Yeah, I could have done the same demo on an iPad, and it's exactly the same.
And when you ported it over from, which one did you develop first, Android or iOS?
They came together.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, interesting. Yeah. Anyways, go ahead.
Because the core of all the infrastructure is exactly the same.
I see.
And actually the software development toolkit is essentially the same, the same API, right? So it's there were different phases of development where iOS might have been a little bit ahead of Android, but they were essentially released at the same time. Okay, so I got my conference, right? And now I am going to invite guest 3 into the conference, right? So all I do is drag and drop them in, right? And now you can see.
And this is voice conference or video,
right? This is going to be. Oh, I can accept audio or video. I'm going to accept video. And so now we're going to do a video conference. Mute that again so it doesn't give me a hard time. And so now you saw just by contextual drag and drop, I've created a conference environment. And now,
can you invite outside party that's not within the Smart Office user?
You can send them the collaboration link.
Okay.
And in the current release, you can't have an unregistered user on the actual video.
So it would have to be
in an upcoming release. You'll be able to have a completely unregistered user. So in today's release, I can send the collaboration link and involve an unknown user into the collaboration session, into the desktop sharing session, but not necessarily into the video. But we can also send them a dial-in number so they can dial in.
For voice.
For voice. And in the next release, you'll be able to send a URL to an unregistered user and just have them join the whole thing.
And they can join.
They'll share in the same experience.
And they can join using a browser, basically.
They'll join using Chrome or a browser and have the same experience that everyone else is.
And does that require any third-party installation, or is it just literally?
No, it's Chrome. In the current browsers, there are some plugins, but they're quick to download.
But if I wanted a better user experience than a browser, can I download the Genband app?
Oh, you can go to the
Smart Office app.
You can get this off of the
store,
off of the Play Store for Android, or off of the application store.
And then would I use the URL to join? Or?
You would have to be, in the case of when you download the application, you have to have a license on the application server.
Okay.
Right? But in the case where, so there's kind of two use cases. If I just want to download this application from the store, then I'm downloading because I'm going to be a user. I'm going to be a registered user.
Okay.
Right. And then you'll link to whatever your corporate system is. But if I'm at work and I want to have my partner, a third-party partner, dial in and collaborate, I can send them this URL, and they'll be able to join into the call and see the desktop sharing and participate in the audio.
And that's
video.
that's the next version.
That's the next release. It's coming very soon. So,
okay.
So
that makes sense, because if you've got people vendors you're working
Absolutely.
with on a temporary basis, you don't want to go through all the hassle of
absolutely
getting them registered and whatnot.
So within the conference, you can see the tools across here. This is essentially the collaboration. So I can launch a you see collaboration pop up. I can launch a desktop sharing session, right? And that desktop sharing session will show whatever I'm displaying on my desktop, right? Either inside this work window or I can close this window and have full screen, and then it'll work. It'll show up on the tablet within this window, gotcha. Right? And I can when I'm in it, I can expand to full screen for just collaboration, and I can switch back and forth between the video.
Now, does the app obviously need to be on when you get an invitation in for a chat or not, or does it live in the background?
Yeah, it needs to be. In the case of the web, you need to be logged in.
Okay,
right. But you can minimize and leave it running. In case of the app, you can same thing. You can minimize it and it runs.
And then the notification.
And the multitasking OS is a notification will come in and you'll be able to launch into it. So different behavior from browser to app itself. Okay. So that's essentially it. And then the other things to notice about the interface, right, is that so I can escalate from voice to video, instant messaging. I can have group chats. Everything is kept. Everything is contextual, right, and everything is kept in a history. So let me back out of this current call.
Does this tie into email as well? Or can it be tied in?
There's no email tie. What do you mean by tie into email?
Well, because if it's like a CRM system, you wouldn't want to be able to tie in any communications outside of voice and text or message.
There's no tie-in to email directly in the interface, but for example, within a Microsoft Link environment, if you say I'm working in Outlook, the Xperia server can integrate with Outlook, right?
Okay.
And so you could, for example, you could click on someone's email address, right, within the Outlook message and have it launch a session with them, right? As long as you've done that Outlook integration.
Okay.
With we use a combination of WebRTC capabilities and TRD7 capabilities to integrate with Microsoft, right? So you get a very seamless integration and flow. So all the things that you can do within the Office environment, within the Microsoft desktop, you can point to click and end up having it launch into this collaboration session.
Perfect.
And you can also federate with Microsoft Presence. So the other things you'll notice about the interface. So what you're watching here is this is a set of my recent conversations. Everything is contextual. This is just a demo environment, but I can go into any one of these and I can look at. Oh, I'm on hold here. Actually, I didn't hang up. Let me hang up. I can go into any one of these and actually see that history. And that, obviously, I just did a quick demo. There's not a lot of information here, but if I had started with that IM session, I would see the IM log. I could have recorded. I could have done a recording of the call, and I could come in here and replay the recording. But even more interesting, I could just drag and drop, right? So I could take this conference and just actually reinitialize it. So if I had a regular group meeting with, say, the three of us, and I wanted to just quickly recreate that meeting, all I would have to do is come into this context, click it, and it would launch the bridge, call everybody, and everyone would be reestablished in the session. So it's almost like a multimedia redial within the environment, right? And that's it. So there's also some other things to note here. We're very committed, and we believe that more and more you'll see actual workflow integration of unified communications, and actually, like integration into Salesforce, integration into SAP, like we spoke about at the conference. So increasingly, people will be able to interact and launch right out of their business process and right out of their business flow. But this remains, you always need that anchor communication capability outside of your application environment. But you can also go in here and launch. There's links. For example, like here, if I really wanted to work at the same time as I was in my collaboration, such as say within Salesforce, I could come in here and just click on my link. I think I'm not on the VPN, so unfortunately it's not going to come up. But I could come in here and click on Salesforce, and I could be interacting within Salesforce in this workspace window, sharing it with people, and going through my workflow.
So right now
this
it's the integration is LinkedIn and Salesforce, or
this is just the links I happen to have configured.
But it's also work with SAP, or
you can link in anything you want to here. So this is kind of the conference. What we announced at the conference was we actually have used our WebRTC gateway to link UC capabilities within SAP's applications, right? And so from a web browser logged into a CRM tool, I can just point and click and launch the collaboration session with the people that I'm working with.
And who does that integration? Genband, or
we did it jointly.
Okay,
right? We did it jointly, but a third party could even do it through our APIs. So, for example, with Salesforce, Genband just did it themselves because Salesforce has published APIs, right? And you can get screen pops when your customer calls you. You can easily interact and click and collaborate with your customer from that environment, all built on WebRTC. So we're going to see more and more of that. This is kind of a backwards way to do it too. Like if I'm mobile on my tablet and I wanted to link into Salesforce, I just have this link. I click on it. It'll launch a window into Salesforce. I can log in and I can interact within the collaboration environment. So there's kind of two ways to integrate, right? This is the lightweight integration. The other way is the actual completely integrated widget within the web environment. So it's easy, contextual, drag and drop. Very simple to use, and we think it changes. We think the multitasking aspect on the tablet, as well as just the seamless kind of integration, the common look and feel across WebRTC and across the mobile environment, creates a pretty compelling work from anywhere environment for UC.
Okay, thank you so much.
So any other questions?
Nope, that's it. Thank you.
All right.